welcome to a new video. We've got another studio sort out, declutter, completely tidying up my studio basically. If you haven't been here before, welcome. I've recently got started and having a really thorough sort out and organising my, I never know what to call this. It's sort of like part art studio, part sewing studio, part craft room and study. But and that's the problem. I'm doing too many things in this one room and I need to create more space so that I can do it properly. So we started with this corner. This is all nicely new storage, all organised, and I've been loving having this nice clear space here, and yeah, really liking the start of this. I'm sorry if you were wanting me to do the desk next, because I'm actually going to do under this table next, and the reason why I need to do this seems to be the next part of the sort out and tidy up is because I know that under here, pushed right to the back of this table under here, is a big A2, maybe even A1 actually, portfolio case that I had when I was at school for my GCSE art. Oh, do you know what? No, I just had a flimsy plastic one at school, so this one must have been one I bought myself when I was doing A-level art when I was much older. Anyway, I really need the storage. I've been starting to do some big paintings and I've got nowhere to put them. So at the moment they're sort of flopped over with my fabric over there, which is not ideal, and I don't want them to get spoiled because there is potential there. I think that last one I did, I think could be a print. Maybe a couple of these could start being, I could start planning on selling them as prints or even originals. Let me know if you're interested. So anyway, I need somewhere to put them to keep them safe, and that is one of the reasons why that's got to be next. And the reason why I can't just pull that out and get on with it is because there is a stack. Can you see my hand? Let me move the chair. There, that's the top of magazines. This goes all the way to the floor. I need to get rid of them. And I've talked about this before. Magazines are my weak point. That's where, actually I haven't bought any for a long time. I think a normal person would buy a magazine, read it and then recycle it, whereas I'm not very good at that. I think, oh well, I'll want to look at that again in the future, plus the fact they're so expensive. I don't want to just recycle it as soon as I've just glanced at it once. So I tend to stack them up in piles like this or hide them in other corners of the house. But what I've always done is torn out the pages that I want to keep, hole punch them, file them, and there's a whole stack of files that I've got as well, which I also need to go through, downsize. Anyway, let's just crack on with this video. You don't want me rambling on for half an hour at the beginning of it. Let's get started and I'll talk you through some things as we go. So I hope you enjoy watching. I hope it inspires you if you need to tidy up and sort out your studio or your room or your corner. And if not, I hope you just enjoy the entertainment and the cringe-worthiness of how awful my studio is. Okie dokie, well, I have sorted that giant pile. Well, these are all the home magazines that go back quite a long way. A lot of these actually I haven't bought. Was it when I broke my foot a few years ago? A massive pile of Country Living magazines came up on Free Cycle, and Chris went and got them for me, so I think it was when I broke my foot. And I sort it out. So this is obviously the garden section, and that goes in my garden file. Then I might have the home stuff that I want to keep. That will go in my home files. Files, plural. And then I've got like a bit of a renovation bit, and that will go in my renovation files. Yeah. I mean, that's why I don't recycle them. There's often a lot of stuff that I just want to remember, like relax with deep breathing techniques. That's the sort of thing I want to remind myself of every now and then. So yeah, it's a shame that magazine's not going anymore. I really enjoyed it. And then over here is also stuff that I'm not sure what to do with. whole load of Belle Armoire magazines, and it was discovering these magazines in America on, I think the very first one I bought was when we did a California road trip, and it made me push myself to change from doing wholesale clothing business to actually making my own stuff. I think this was sort of the thing that inspired it all in the first place. So again, I don't want to throw these away, because they are a constant source of inspiration. Every now and then I'd like to have another look at them. So I'm not sure what to do with all that. So here we have it. This is my lever arch file, now nicely full of all the bits that I wanted to save out of these magazines, which are mostly in the moment. We've got maybe a couple of the simple things. So these are all like well-being magazines with bits about, quite often about yoga, mindfulness, ways to live your life well. There's a little bit of travel in there, bits of advice, just life advice. Just really, really nice ideas for how to live your life in a really nice way. And I really miss this magazine actually. So I did really want to just keep the best bits that I know that I will enjoy looking at. You know, it's the sort of thing, it'll be a bit like reading a book or flipping through occasionally, just for some inspiration, I suppose, for ways to live your life well. I found all those articles interesting enough that I know I will want to read them again. So I'm pleased with that. That job's done, and all of these can go in recycling. I'm so annoyed because I had 3 bags for life also filled with recycling of other magazines, and I forgot to film them, and I know if I don't film them, people don't believe me when I say I've decluttered. So anyway, and I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I've got a bit of a cold and sore throat, so this has been a pleasant task to do while not feeling all that well. So yeah, it's been really nice. So I have this basket, and I really just wasn't sure what to put in it, what to use it for, and I still might change my mind, but I thought I would have a go at keeping my journaling stuff in, bits and bobs. So I thought I could put in there the journal itself, the sticker book, the stickers, and also collect the bits and pieces that I gather to put in later. This will probably be my journaling station, but there isn't quite enough room here for everything. So at the moment a lot of my journaling things are here, which, to give you some context, that's my desk chair there, and this is the table where I'm sitting at. So it kind of works, but not really, because it's just too much is getting stacked. You know, I want to get access to these folders, which is a course that I'm doing at the moment, and sometimes I want to get access to the basket underneath. This can go somewhere else. I can go in the chest of drawers out the way for now. Yes, I'm going to start by getting those things out. I'll show you what I've got in here. I've got this book here, which is called Country House Garden. Oh my god, I would have loved this as a kid. It's just full of pictures from a country, I think it's a fictional country house, I'm not sure, and you just stick the stickers in, like the rabbits and the dovecot and things. So as I go to a lot of National Trust places, I thought that this would be quite perfect, and I have used quite a lot of the stickers already, and I'm even cutting out the pictures. Because I'll be honest with you, when I bought it, let me just show you, that'll be easier, won't it? I'll be honest with you, when I bought it I thought it was just stickers. I forgot that sticker book meant pictures and stickers like you had when you were a kid. I just totally forgot. I mean, isn't this cool? So this is what I mean, that there's these pictures like this, and then at the back you've got all the stickers. It's quite handy having a lot of these stickers. They do seem to match the sort of thing that I do, so I think that was actually a good buy, even though it wasn't a whole sticker book of stickers. This I bought in America in, not Michael's, what's the other, Joann's, and this is just stickers that are seasonal actually, and that's been quite useful. Obviously 4th of July is not going to be so relevant to me, yeah, but I think most of the others are, and some flowers. So I thought that was a nice useful one, and yeah, it is proving so. I've got an old National Trust guidebook because like I said, we're always going to National Trust places. Very handy to cut out the pictures or just have some of the blurb as, you know, a decoration. And then lastly, I've got my antiquarian sticker book, which you might have seen me talk in depth about in a previous journaling video, and this has got mainly sort of Victorian, I would say, stickers in, a whole mixture of things. So you've got a lot of natural history actually. It was very useful when we went to the Natural History Museum. And then you've got some really weird ones, you know, definitely like some, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to use them in my journal, but you never know. But it does keep my journal looking interesting and unusual. And yeah, I found some that have been quite relevant too, so there we are. I'll put them back now. So let's catch up face to face. A lot has gone on since I filmed those last clips, which makes the need of tidying up this room even more important. But first, I want to say thank you to those of you who have sent messages asking, just checking if I'm okay, because the videos have been a bit few and far between lately. And yes, I'm absolutely fine. Thank you very much. I do appreciate you asking. I think partly, to be honest, it is a bit of a winter blues thing. Whenever I've had a break from YouTube, it has been in early spring, I just feel a bit more down. And so I don't feel like pretending. To be honest, I do sometimes pretend I'm in a better mood and more energetic than I really am when I'm vlogging. But you don't want to pretend over and over again. So that's partly why. Nothing, you know, nothing drastic, nothing to worry about or anything, just not really feeling in the mood for it. And I think perhaps also there might be an element of, at the end of the year, you know, you look back and you realise it's been another year where I haven't reached my goals with YouTube, still not earning any money, still running this channel at a loss, and gets you down a little bit. I mean, I'm not complaining, I'm very, particularly to you, there's no point in complaining to you. You are here watching and I really appreciate that. So yeah, and without wishing to sound, I don't know what the word is, poor me sort of thing, I'm kind of used to this. After all these years, I'm kind of used to this disappointment, and I just, you know, you got to shrug your shoulders and get on with it. I do enjoy making videos, so it is a bit of a passion project. And the biggest advantage of me not making a living from YouTube is that I can take a break when I need to without feeling like I need to be here. So anyway, I hope that explains it. But I also have a much more exciting reason, well, two exciting reasons actually. I'm still working on that online workshop that I mentioned every now and then, Enchanted Elegance with Raggedy Remnants. That is still coming, and I've said it before, it's just taking, this end bit is just taking a lot longer than I expected, and finding the time to figure things out is just, it takes a lot more time than I thought. But the other exciting reason why I've not been around on YouTube so much, and what's taking up my time, is I am now officially an art student for the next year. So I am taking the Mastery programme, which is run by the Milan Art Institute. I began it at the beginning of February, and the commitment is meant to be about 4 hours a day. So yeah, that is quite a lot of time for me to find. But I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm really quite proud of what I've done actually, and that's helped lift my mood. So my advice, if you're feeling a bit low, is go and do something you're proud of just for yourself, and be proud of the trying, the process. The end result is immaterial. Just be proud of yourself for having a go and doing something. Yeah, you're worth spending that time on yourself and having a go. So I'll show you what I've done in a second, but it's really funny because the program is meant to be 4 hours a day. You get breaks scattered throughout the year, but I found it quite difficult to concentrate on anything else. It turns out I am not a multitasker. I am afraid I do let the side down. I do need to sort of think about one thing at a time, and so all I'm thinking about is I've got to do I don't want to fall behind, I want to do all the lessons. And so instead of doing it like 4 hours a day over the month, we get 1 month's program at a time. I got it done in the first 2 weeks of February, so I'm really glad that I could do that. I think because the program is designed to be suitable for beginners, and I wouldn't call myself a beginner, so that's probably helped me be a bit more speedy. But yeah, I'm glad I can do this, because I think doing it this way around is actually much more manageable, because that means like if I can keep up this momentum, then it means if I can do the month's work in 2 weeks, then that gives me 2 weeks to fully think about the other things I need to do. So for the last few days I have been back to sorting out this room, back to tidying up, because it's more important than ever that I managed to get this room to work with sewing and art at the same time. But it's proving a challenge. Why is tidying up so difficult? I'm really struggling with it this evening. I'm tired, I guess that's why. Yeah, because I've got these cupboards here built in under the window. On this side I've got a ton of notebooks, and then this is where all my sketchbooks were stacked up, and packs of paper, and I've got the odd canvas board, and now I'm just like surrounded by sketchbooks, and I don't know where to put them. I've got a pile of rubbish, I've got magazines that I'm gonna sell. I can't get out. And then there's the odd thing that I want to keep, like this necklace rack that, even though I've lost the top stick, I think I used that to display my key rings when I was doing pyrography. Oops. And then I've got a basket of shoelaces, and it's like, do I really need that? I think I need to stop for the evening. I'm getting a little fed up. Nearly bedtime. Let's start again in the morning. Right, it's a new day. What I decided to do in the end was just put it all back. So it's all back. It's still not a good system. Look, they're all going to fall out, but yes, anyway. And then the other pads of paper that I'm using at the moment, I've just piled up here in front. Not ideal, but hopefully as I carry on around this room, we'll find homes for these things. Okay, I've come under the desk now, under the table, and at the moment I've got these 2 big boxes. One is mainly full of thick fabric and fabric samples, and the other one is full of fringing. And I just want to sort through them. What am I actually going to use? Particularly the fringing. I don't need a whole box that big of fringing, so I'm going to see if I can get through this quite quickly and work out what I want to keep and what I don't. That's my next task. Okay, here we go. So I'm slowly working my way through this massive tangle of fringing, wrapping it around pieces of cardboard, deciding what colours I want to keep and what ones to get rid of, and that sort of thing. Oh, it's a boring task, so I've got an audio book on the go at the same time. I'm absolutely covered in all of this fluffy stuff from the trims. So this is the stuff I'm going to probably sell, or I'll see if Rain wants the curtains first. We've got a bag of just scraps that are too scrappy to use here and here. So that'll go to recycling, or bag it up into old pillowcases and put in the roof for insulation. That's what I have been doing, but we're planning on doing the insulation properly in the roof, so I don't know if I want to add to it. This pile is just thicker fabric. I'm never going to use that. Let's get rid of that. I will use that. This is lovely velvet, lovely, possibly even silk velvet actually. This fabric I think would look good for part of a sort of medievally style outfit, maybe a costume. Anyway, this fabric I'm keeping because I'm going to make a cushion cover with this. I've got some more of that over here as well. So I'm going to distribute these in my baskets of scraps, so that's where that's going to go. Yep, that's going to go. I'm going to be ruthless. Put that in the to-go pile. So that's the size of the box that all this was in. This is the size of the box that all the trim was in. And it's like all stacked up on top this high. It's amazing how you take it out of a box, it just never fits back in. Same applies. All of this came out of the other broken box as well. These are all fabric samples. Some of them still in books, but most of them I've cut out of the sample books. And my friend gave all of these to me kindly, and I used some of them, the thinner ones, I used for my Glastonbury Festival cup carriers. Plenty of those for sale if you want. If you're interested, the link to Threads of a Fairy Tale is below. So yeah, I've got quite a stack of these to get through, and I've decided I'm just going to do a great big blanket, maybe 2 or 3, but I'm just going to sit at the table in the kitchen and get my vintage sewing machine out that goes better through this thick fabric, and just, yeah, quickly make, well, it won't be quickly, but you know what I mean. It's quite straightforward. It will take a day, maybe 2 days at most, and then it's done, and then I've got a nice blanket, because I've already made a couple in autumn colours. So these are a bit more beiges, I think. So I'm quite pleased. I can now pull out this broken box, and we're going to have, yeah, we're going to have a nice big space, which I can put other things in. So I am pleased. So I realised I didn't actually explain the course very well. It's all done online and it's all pre-recorded, so there's no live lessons or anything like that. It's just that it's a monthly, you can pay outright actually, but I chose to do it monthly, and you get sent the lessons every month. The first part of the course is all about oil painting and drawing, and that lasts for about 3 months before it changes. So this is just the first couple of weeks, and I can't believe how many pictures I've actually drawn in 2 weeks. The first thing we did was a drawing of a hand holding a paintbrush. I think she likes to, Ellie Milan, who runs it, likes to throw you in at the deep end. Everyone is scared of drawing hands, so I think it was all about learning how to use a pencil to help you measure. And then the second one we did was a shoe. Oh, we did some shading as well, that sort of thing. But the shoe was to learn how to use one of these measuring tools where you line it up and you hold it out like that, and you look like that, and then you measure it. And honestly, I've seen people use these and I thought, I'll be honest, I thought, that's a bit pretentious, isn't it? Surely you just draw what you see. But honestly, this is a game changer. So yeah, I love this. This is my new favourite thing ever for drawing. So there's my basic shoe. So that was learning how, there's no shading involved. It was literally about plotting the measurements and getting those right, and learning how to use one of these if you've never used one before. We've got the classic shading of fruit to practice shading. So the pears was actually from a photograph. This one was from life, like the shoe. So I set up this pile of boxes here. No, so it's still a bit off. It's not, the angles aren't great with this one. I could have, perhaps I wasn't like remembering, because that's the problem with this, is you've got to hold it in exactly the same, you know, distance from yourself, otherwise it all goes a bit wrong. And I think we went a little bit pear-shaped on this one, but it's not too bad. So that was charcoal, the others were pencil, and that's all that's in that one. Honestly, my room is in absolute chaos at the moment. I can't wait until I've got this all done. I'm glad I'm finding a use for some of these sketchbooks that I've had, because generally I don't do much drawing. I generally use painting and I use watercolours, and I've discovered a lot of these old books that I still had from a while ago are just not thick enough. So this is 145 GSM, and I have done some watercolours in it before. This was, I obviously bought this book because it's from Paper Chase, which we never had a Paper Chase near us where we used to live in Kent. So this was a holiday from when, well, this was our Iron Age holiday where we explored Iron Age settlements. I'm trying to remember how old the kids were. About 5 and 8 roughly, so quite a long time ago. Nearly 20, oh my god, nearly 20 years ago. Yeah, Jesus. So that's from a mine in Cornwall, and there's a little sketch at the bottom there. I don't know if you can see. That was when we were up an Iron Age hill fort, Castle Andinas, near Newquay in Cornwall. I've got a little sketch of a fairy who I think looks a lot like Cara Toynton. Some more fairies. Me having a go at combining flowers with the figure. Another one. Oh, this is an oil pastel. We're reminiscing now. I reckon these are Brian Froud copies, but really pretty watercolour up there. Oh, I love this one. So that's at Laycock Abbey. We went there on that trip as well, and there's the kids looking through the windows, or the cloisters I mean. And I remember doing that in the camper van. I don't know what this sketch is of this horse and carriage. I've got absolutely no idea. No memory of that whatsoever, or what that's about at all. Maybe one of the kids wanted me to draw one of their toys. And this is an example of my only ever oil painting that I've done before. So I don't know if you can see, there's a sketch of the kids in the middle, a very faint drawing. So I was obviously coming towards them, doing it in a very rudimentary style, little bit by little bit. When I say I've never done oil painting before, you'll know it is apart from this one sheet of paper. And then this one you might have seen when I did the Lally Mill Art Journal workshop. And then we are now on to what is actually relevant. I went down a bit of a memory lane there. So that's my charcoal portrait, which was done from a photograph. And I was quite chuffed with that, to be honest, because I've never really drawn whole faces that big on a page before. And then I've done, this was a still life I set up on the desk in charcoal. And then this, the still life of the rose was from a photograph. And that's that for the drawing. So the drawing is sort of all interspersed with the oil painting, so that you can be getting on with the drawing while the oil painting is drying. So apart from that one picture you just saw of the woodland, this is my first ever oil painting. I am really quite chuffed with that, I'll be honest. I'm really quite pleased. So that was going through the teacher's technique, sort of step by step really, but we had our own source. We could choose between a few birds, and I went with a kingfisher. And then we did a landscape. Not so impressed with myself with this one. It's okay, it's alright, but I'm not so proud of this one. Then I did this, I used a proper board here rather than paper. Oil portrait. This one was from a photograph, which was fine. I mean, again, thrown in the deep end a little bit with angles. All the faces were like this, you know, they weren't straight on. So it was a little bit hard to do, and it took me a little while to get the proportions right, particularly as you're not drawing with a pencil first. You are going straight in there with the layers and then sort of figuring out the placement as you go along. I found this one quite hard. I probably perhaps spent a little longer on it than we were meant to, but I did want to at least get it looking in proportion. And it's funny how when you look at a picture on a screen, here's a tip if you're a beginner artist. If you get to a point where you're not quite sure whether you're finished or not, or you're not quite sure it's looking right, take a photo on your phone and look at it through the phone. Like I'm looking at it through the screen and I can see immediately where the problems are. I don't know why, but looking at it in a screen rather than in real life shows you the problems. It looks better in real life, honestly. So anyway, I'm quite proud of that again. It's not that bad, is it, for an early oil painting attempt. And then we did 3 still lifes alla prima. I'm learning the lingo. So wet on wet, each of these all in one session. I've sat on my cushion. So there's one, and there's one, and there's the last one. Not a lot to say about that really, except oil painting is difficult. I'm struggling. I felt that actually we could have done with a bit more instruction for beginners just in how to use oil paint. We were told things like 1 part thinner with however many parts linseed oil and things like that, but perhaps I'm finding it a bit harder because I'm actually using water soluble oil paints. I didn't want to go down the road of using white spirit and all that sort of thing, and I feel like I am now getting the hang of it. Can't say I'm loving it. I hate how long it takes to dry. That's why they're all sort of spread out here on my desk, which they have been since I began them, because you still touch a bit and you think, oh no, that's still not dry, still can't pack that away. No, I don't think oil is going to become my medium, but we'll see. I've still got 2 more months to carry on with it. So anyway, I'm babbling on. I hope you don't mind. I don't suppose I'll be doing this every month, showing you what I'm doing, and I'll probably just do an update maybe at the end of each section, the 4 sections, or maybe just not till the end. We'll see. Oh, I remember last week I was going to explain about the Patreon. I am not updating it anymore. I just don't have the time. Now I'm doing this art, and so for the time being, instead, because there are, I think, nearly 60 videos, maybe more actually, anyway, there's about 60 videos over on patreon.com/Helen Hobden. If you want to go and binge watch those, you could try and do that like within 1 month and just pay for 1 month. So I've still got them all there, and you could just pay to watch them in one go if you like. That's basically that update. Well, I think that's it from me this week. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Thank you for being here and spending your time with me. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye.